Hi, this is Chris, Video Game Dust Sleeves, and you're listening to the VGDS podcast with Bonesy06,
What's up?
DanCavDragon,
Hello, everyone.
DizzyTheGamerJit,
Podcast 2.
and guest gamer OddNez.
Hey, how's it going?
First segment, Sleeve It or Leave It. The first game is Aragon for PlayStation 2. Bones, would you sleeve it or leave it?
No, but that's gonna get left behind.
Why? You have such sentimental value for this game.
No, I do not.
How many times did you buy this game?
3.
Dan.
Man, there must be a story behind that one, but you know, I don't think I would sleeve this game.
Dizzy.
Good choice.
Dizzy.
No, I'd leave it. The front cover looks like an early 2000s drama sitcom like Dawson's Creek or something. I'm leaving that one.
It really does, but that's not
Yeah,
what it's
man.
Honest.
Honestly, I think I'm just gonna leave it because it's a PlayStation 2 game. I don't really think I need it sleeved.
Ness, you're new to the dust sleeve era. Like if you came on here and you saw what I can do with a PlayStation 2
Right.
game, you might change your mind.
Oh, okay. I'm just so used to having something retro being sleeved up, but yeah, whatever. Right? If it looks great, why not?
I'll show you some stuff later. But
Sure.
I can 3D these things. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so you may change as you progressively go on and see what I can actually do.
Hope I do.
Next title, Motor Tune Grand Prix. Bones, would you sleeve it or leave it?
No, you took this one from me. I've been talking mad talk about this. Dan, you better not go, you son of a bitch, and buy this on eBay if you don't have it.
Oh, man, he's gonna.
That's one of my most nostalgic games on PlayStation that I'm trying to reacquire. But it's like a $40+ game, and I just haven't bit the bullet yet. So
Dan already bought it. What are you talking about?
yeah, I want that game. That game would get a sleeve when I do
Looking it
acquire
up.
it.
Dan said he's gonna buy you a copy, so relax.
No.
Dan, sleeve it or
Yeah,
leave it?
I'm writing this down for podcast pickups.
Uh-huh.
But no, I wouldn't off the top of my head sleeve this based on this genre. But I mean, I know somebody else, my other friend loves this game too. So must be something about this game.
It's a
So-
good game. It's a good little racer.
So based on my previous knowledge, I would say no. But then because now listening to Bones and thinking of my friend, I think I'll change my mind and I would sleeve this. Yes.
Dizzy.
Looking at the front, it looks really good. I would sleeve that one. Like Bones was saying, it's about $40. I was gonna say it looks like it's not on the cheap side, but I do love racers and kart racers, so yeah, I would pick that up and sleeve it.
Ness.
This was originally a Japanese game, right? I can remember.
I think so.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think it was, but just because PlayStation 1 was one of my favorite consoles, I'm actually gonna sleeve it.
Nice. See, you're turning tunes already.
Yeah. Turning tunes.
Cha-cha-choo. Next title, McDonald's Treasureland Adventures. Bones. Sleeve
Fuck
it?
No.
Oh, come on.
Fuck no. I can't
You
even
sleep-
believe this thing made it to a list.
Dude,
even.
You-
Dude, you're wrong. You're so
You
wrong.
sleeve goddamn Barbie, but you won't sleeve McDonald.
Well, the Barbie's got my face on it, man. What do you want me to do?
Dan.
No, this game is excellent. First of all, it's really mad expensive. It's really valuable. But second of all, it's made by Treasure, who made Gunstar Heroes. So even though it's got a silly license to it, it's actually a really good game, and I highly recommend it. It's very, very underrated. It's got some really great talent behind the game.
Hey, Bones, you want to change your answer?
No, I still don't want to change my answer. I have expensive games in my collection that are not sleeved. The monetary value does not necessarily mean
But he just said it was a good game. Like, besides it being valuable, it's a good game.
But I haven't played it. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not
he's
just gonna
telling
change
you
my
it's a
mind.
good game.
What if I think it sucks?
Then it's a sucky game.
Yeah, so I play the game and don't get no sleep.
Danny's gonna have to play the ROM.
Yeah, you can play my copy. I have this game, so you can.
Oh, he actually has the game. There you go.
I'll bring it over sometime. We can check it out.
Yeah, just bring it to my house. We'll all play it.
I paid a lot of money. I paid a lot of money for this game too.
Ah, jeez.
Oh man, see, that was not going in my collection anytime soon. Thank you very much.
Dizzy.
Yeah, I would sleeve it. Like you were saying, it sounds expensive, so I definitely would sleeve it to keep the cartridge safe. And I would actually request you make a custom Big Mac box for this, sit in.
That would be cool. That's actually.
Oh my God! Don't give Dan any damn ideas.
Do it.
Oh jeez. Here we go.
Can you make a Happy Meal shaped sleeve?
Ooh, that sounds even better.
Oh crap.
I didn't want to say it.
Bones. God damn it.
I didn't say it. Okay, I'm the guy who's not sleeving it. Remember, I'm
Yeah,
on the other
yeah,
side of that
yeah.
fence right now.
That just slapped myself in the damn face, didn't I?
Well, let me know how that box comes out.
Screw you, motherfucker. Ness, sorry for all the commotion.
Fine, it's fine. If it was like a loose cartridge, then I'd probably sleeve it. I haven't actually played that game, but if I had the shell for it, probably not. But if it was loose, then I would sleeve it.
Last title, Alien vs. Predator for the Super NES. Bones. Sleeve it, leave it.
That's a toughie.
You got the sleeve for the Atari Jaguar.
Yeah, I know. But that's Jaguar, man. This is Super Nintendo.
I don't know, I kind of like the box art better on this one than the Jaguar one.
Alright, fuck it. I'm gonna sleeve this one.
Dan?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth sleeving.
Dizzy?
Yeah, the front box art looks cool. I would sleeve it.
Ness?
Yeah, I would sleeve that one for sure.
Hey, everybody agreed on one. Wow. That's the first. Alright. Guess that box art. Bones. Got a guess for the first image?
Let my old fingers get it scrolled down here. I gotta make it to the picture. Okay. Boat Eliminator?
No. I'll give you a hint since this I don't know. PS1.
I can't, dude. I'm staring. Is that a chick in the bottom one here? Fuck this boat one. What's up with the girl one down low?
Do the boat one first.
Yeah, get Bones.
This is Thunder. Something Thunder, maybe.
Yeah, you're on the right track. Anybody?
Hydro Thunder.
Yep. Hydro Thunder.
There you go. Do I own that?
Did you guys know that?
No.
Ness?
I knew it was some boat racing game, but when Bones said Thunder, I knew what it was.
Ness, did you know?
No, I was probably gonna say Jet Moto.
That would have been a good guess. Alright, next image. Any guesses?
I think I know.
VIP PlayStation 1.
That was a good guess. That's why I'm laughing. That was
really
really
good guess, Dizzy, because it looks like part of the P and.
Yeah, that was a good guess, but that's not it. It's an NES title.
Come on, guys.
I know you know, Bones.
Bounce.
This is like the only NES title that there's a girl on the front cover. And she's next to an animal.
This isn't ringing a bell, man.
It's ringing a long bell.
The animal.
I can't tell you the animal or it
Yeah,
gives it
yeah,
away.
it gives it
That's
away.
the problem.
The animal is a Yeah. Big and
can't give
big
anything.
and furry. There, that's probably as much as I can give you. It's a two-word game title. It's not only one word, it's 2 words.
Guys, there's a tail in the picture.
And what kind of tail is that? Like, that kind of gives you what animal that is.
It's like a donkey or something.
It's a tiger.
What's that, Ness?
It's a tiger, probably.
Close.
Oh,
What's the opposite of tiger?
a lion.
Yes. So what's the first word? The first word is
Dan, you're gonna know this for sure.
All right, so
I
the
know
second
it.
word is lion. So what's the first word?
Girl and lion.
Girl and lion. All right, since you got girl, I'm
Dictionary.
gonna go with the first word is a G since you got girl. So it's starts with a G, the first word.
Guys, let's put it this way: the girl means nothing for
No.
this first word.
No.
Right?
No.
So it has nothing to do with that girl. Patrick Swayze did a movie
Yeah.
that was named it.
Ghost lion.
Yes.
There you
That's
go.
there you go.
Damn.
There you go, Dizzy.
I never heard of this game.
Yeah, me neither.
What kind of game is this?
Ghost Lion. That's the name of the game.
I believe it's like a platformer style game. I'm
Which
not
is-
100%.
Dan is writing the title down right now.
Well, no, it's probably $1 million. I've never heard of this game.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't. It's not
it's
rare.
over $100, but it's not that expensive.
Not really.
I don't believe so.
It's over $100. That's not gonna. I'm not gonna buy that anytime soon.
Is it really?
Yeah, I mean it's like complete. It's like
135 loose.
300,
Damn.
almost 300 complete. Is that an official release game?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a licensed Nintendo game.
So, and you
Hey,
have this
hey,
one?
Ness, did you know about this game?
I think I might have seen the cover of it, but I don't own it. No, is that like an adventure game or RPG?
Bones would probably know better than me.
I think it's just like an adventure platformer style game.
Okay, kind of like a.
I
Zelda
haven't
game.
really played it that much. That was one of them that got thrown on the backlog and then never got actually thrown back in.
All right, Bones.
Well, that was a different guess that box art, I have to say.
Bones, you got involved on that one.
Well, dude, I immediately knew what it was, and then I kept staring at that, and I wasn't even looking at the other one.
He's
All
like,
right, so
he's like, I know this one.
this month's logo sleeve is no other than our guest gamer, OddNez.
Thanks.
You can have this sleeve made or any other style of any other console. Just contact Chris at Video Game Dust Sleeves on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, any of them. And he will get you a sleeve made. And all proceeds go to OddNez himself. Next up is Franchise of the Month. Oh, wait a minute. There's one other thing. We'd like to know, Nez, what game would you like to see people have put into your logo sleeve?
What game? I probably any NES game probably would look good in that sleeve. But if I had to pick one, let's go with my favorite game, Super Mario Brothers 3.
Classic.
Yeah.
Okay, nice
Good
selection.
one, yeah.
Nice selection. Now we can move on to Franchise of the Month.
All
Go
right.
ahead, Mr. Dan.
Yeah. That was a nice segue. Super Mario Bros. 3 going back to Donkey Kong. In Franchise of the Month, I picked Donkey Kong as the series. It's one of my favorite games of all time. That picture is kind of small, so click on it if you need to see it bigger. But yeah, just we're curious to see if you guys are fans of Donkey Kong. You know, it's an old game; it goes way back. But you know, it's definitely has been with us, getting updates, new updates, Donkey Kong Country and whatnot on newer platforms. I don't have every single game here, like not Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, 3, and not Donkey Kong Land, all those Game Boy games, but I just pretty much picked some of the main installments. So yeah, let's take it away, Bones. Donkey Kong.
I never played Donkey Kong. What is Donkey Kong? Really? No, seriously, I have played a lot of Donkey Kong. Not as much as some people, but that's just because, Dan, you said it. There's a lot of Donkey Kong games out there. Looking at what you have here is just for a selection.
Mm-hmm.
All the NES ones I do have. Have I played a lot of them? No, not really. Donkey Kong for the NES is not really a go-to game for me. The math one's a joke. I'm not here to do educational. I have played it, but
Bones, how dare you?
Dude, I'm not going to climb around and get numbers and shit. Like that's not what I want to play for Donkey Kong. I've played the other ones, and it's not like they're bad games. It's just not my go-to. I would much rather go for the next installment, the Super Nintendo series. 64 I could dabble with. The Diddy Kong Racing is a good one. Even the Donkey Konga was an interesting experience when it came out, to sit there, bang the drum, and clap, and play the beat to the songs. It was a little niche thing. I mean, was it something I'm going to rush right back to play? No. I've reacquired that stuff in my collection, but I'm not going to run back to it. The newer ones, I really haven't played much of. I put them in, make sure some of the discs worked. The Tropical Freeze. Like that, those I haven't really gotten into. More of I'm going to throw in the Diddy Kong Racing, the Donkey Kong 64, the Super Nintendo ones, if I'm going to throw a Donkey Kong game in. That's where I think my nostalgia pulls me to versus anything else in the Donkey Kong franchise.
All right. You did a good job of covering most of those installments. Glad you've played some of them. How about Dizzy? Are you a Donkey Kong fan, past or present?
Definitely a fan. Going back to the Atari versions that are up there.
Oh yeah.
Played all of them as a kid. Love the math. I wish I had the math right now for my daughter to play, because, like I said, she plays the 2600. So I always have like math Grand Prix and the educational games that Bones like to, he likes to stay away from those. But I definitely love those, the old school ones. Played all of them. They're all great, nostalgic for those. The Super Nintendo versions, I always see people playing those, so those have to be great. I think I just have the first one, but 2 and 3 I definitely want to get into. They don't seem like they're that hard once you get the hang of the game. Diddy Kong Racing, I just got that one a couple months back, but I haven't played it yet. J-Chip said he preferred that over the Mario Kart version, so I'm gonna have to check out the Diddy Kong and see what that one's about.
Yeah.
I got the Donkey Kongas, and I got like 2 pairs of the drums, so eventually I'm gonna get on the Donkey Konga. I've had an idea in my mind for a crazy stream with the Donkey Konga for about a year already, but I haven't got to it. It's gonna be crazy, laugh your ass off once I do get to it. And the rest of them, I think I do have one of the Wii ones, but I haven't played it. And the Game Boy Advance, I haven't played any of those too. But Donkey Kong, like, he takes it back. The original Super Mario was on there, so I definitely love those. I love the graphics in the Atari ones, even though now they're primitive. Like, it just takes you back. And eventually, I do have I have the first Donkey Kong on 2600, but eventually I do want to own the other ones, but I think they're getting up there in price now. But yeah, love Donkey Kong. Great character.
Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned the Atari. I should have put that on here because that's such a notorious version of the game for the Atari. But it's funny to see how limited they were with it and what they did with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and our guest Nez. You mentioned being a Mario fan, but how about Donkey Kong?
Yeah, sure. I think I own Donkey Kong for the NES. I don't think I own Donkey Kong Jr. That's probably an expensive one, right? Or is it the math one?
The math one's the one
Math
that's
one.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think just by looking to the side here, because I have everything in alphabetical order. Yeah, just Donkey Kong. And I think my memories with Donkey Kong are probably Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 for the Super Nintendo. Those are the ones that I grew up playing, and those are the ones that I actually, was to. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
My computer wants to update right now. Okay. Yeah,
It's all good.
So Donkey Kong Country is for the Super Nintendo were the ones that I grew up with. Those are the ones that I actually showed off to people back in school because I was never really like the most popular kid in school. So when I showed everybody that, hey, look, I could beat Donkey Kong Country, that was like, I don't know. To me, that was my only way of being cool, saying that, hey, look, I can actually beat a game. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to say. Yeah, I haven't played much of the later games for like the GameCube. I might own Donkey Kong Country Returns for the Wii. Yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say for Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Nice. All right, and Chris.
Well, I recently just played the arcade one with you, Dan. So
That's right.
yeah. So yeah, I really like Donkey Kong. I suck at the arcade one. Just to give you a side note on there. No, I just haven't really practiced with it, to be honest with you, just to play it long enough to even say whether I suck or not. Super NES is really where the magic really goes with Donkey Kong. 1, 2, and 3. 3 probably being the worst out of the franchise. I never really played 64. Diddy Kong, I played a little bit of that. Compared to Mario Kart, I don't know. I think it's preference on that. I just recently acquired it, Donkey Konga Bongos. I have it CIB from Retro Mikey, believe it or not. I bought it off of him. Donkey Kong Returns. I played a lot of that on the Wii. I also played Tropical Freeze, which is that the Wii U? I think it's the Wii U.
Yeah,
on the Wii.
I forgot to put that one on here. So
The updated Donkey Kong games are pretty decent. They're not bad by any means. So that's really all I got to say about it.
Can I
Cool.
jump in with something real quick?
Go ahead,
Sure.
Dizzy.
I forgot to mention, I always had this one question, and we got a bunch of great gamers in here, so you might know the answer. Was Donkey Kong Jr. an actual character, or was that really just the junior version of the Donkey Kong game? Because I never really seen him after that game. Like, he's not in any of the Smash games or anything like that.
So,
Oh, I don't know.
so your question is it a junior of Donkey Kong, or is it just him as a smaller character?
Yeah, exactly.
no, it's definitely his son.
It's
I mean,
his
'cause
son,
you-
yeah.
Yeah, because
Oh, I didn't know that.
the Donkey Kong is in the cage at the top, and you have to go rescue him from Mario has caught Donkey Kong, and
There
you play
you go.
you play the son trying to rescue him.
Right.
That makes sense. Well, I just never seen anything done with him after that. Like, we got a Diddy Kong Racing, but Donkey Kong Jr. never came back.
He was
But-
a one and done.
But the funny thing is that the Donkey Kong from the original game is actually Cranky Kong from the Donkey Kong Country series, the old guy with the beard, you know. So that's like the original Donkey Kong, is the grandfather in the Donkey Kong Country series. But I don't know what I don't know what Donkey Kong Jr. became.
Yeah, where's his mom at?
Yeah, that's true too. So,
Donkey Kong mama.
but yeah, no, I mean, to wrap this segment up, great thoughts, guys. I mean, yeah, I grew up in arcades, so Donkey Kong was one of my go-to games, and one thing that I think most of you mentioned was Donkey Kong Country and on the SNES, and definitely by far that was really impressive graphics back in the day. I remember when that game came out. It was really impressive, and that was like I remember showing that off to my friends, and they're just like, "Wow, I can't believe the SNES is producing this kind of graphics." So so that was really impressive.
Real clean lines, really clean lines.
Yeah. Anyways, good thoughts, everyone. So thanks, Donkey Kong, the franchise of the month.
All right. Now on to the actual podcast where we get to learn about OddNez. Well, first question for me is, how'd you come up with your name?
It was a name that was given to me like a long time ago. Actually, it's actually kind of a funny story, but I never watched that '70s show. So there's somebody in my class. They would always call me they would always call me Fez, and I'm like, stop calling me Nez. Right? and so that just after that they started laughing because I didn't know who Fez was. Fez was a character from the '70s show.
Right. Yeah, it is a character. It's funny. That's funny.
So they just kept calling me Fez, and I kept hearing Nez. So I'm like, stop calling me Nez. So I'm like, okay, fine. That just became my name, my nickname, and I started working with people that I went to school with after, and they all just carried that name on, and I don't know, it's just a name that kind of grew on me. And I was always an odd kind of person, so I just figured just put those two together, and I'm OddNez. So, yeah, not really a great origin story, but it's
no, it's all right. That's totally fine. But yeah, you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you collect, if you collect, what do you play, where we can find you. I believe it's OddNez on YouTube, right?
Right. Yeah.
And anything else you would like to tell us about yourself, and we'll throw in some questions here and there.
Sure. Well, yeah, you can find me on YouTube /OddNez, Facebook /OddNez, Instagram. OddNez was taken, so Nez Orion. And I don't use Twitter because Twitter's just a mess. Yeah, and I guess I'll start talking about like why I started collecting, because I always enjoy hearing people's stories on how or why they started collecting. And for me, it started way back in 2004. It was just like a spring day here in Canada, and I decided to not take the bus, just walk home. As I was walking home, there was like a bunch of garbage on the side of the road, and I remember glancing down, seeing a bunch of like loose Genesis games, some in the clamshells, some just like not in their clamshells. And of course, because like I was too shy to rummage through the garbage, I just kept walking. I kept thinking that I wanted to pick them up and take them home, but I wasn't going to do it because like this is right around the corner from where my school was, and I couldn't. I didn't want people on the bus to pass by and say, "Oh, look, there's Chris, the garbage picker." So I just continued to walk, and then I just decided to walk slow, wait for all the buses to go by, come back, and I picked up the Genesis and brought them home, even though I didn't have a Genesis. But I guess that's where my collecting journey started, was back in 2007. I mean, back in 2004. And I don't know what was going through my mind at the time. It's just more like I wanted to preserve these games, and I just felt terrible that these games were being thrown out. Like, it was a generation where nobody really cared about retro, right? The PlayStation 2 was a thing. The Xbox, the first Xbox was a thing, and nobody really cared about retro at the time. There was only a small group of people at the time who did care. I don't know if you guys remember MSN groups, but or not. It was way back when. MSN groups was I don't know how to explain it. It's really old, but there was a group of members on there who followed or collected for retro, and that was the only place that I got any information on retro games. And it was a small group of like 500, 400 people, and that's kind of where my retro collecting started. And then after that, I started to try to find as much consoles as I can. I didn't have very much pawn shops here in my town because my town was small. It was small. It's not small anymore. So Yeah, so ever since then, I've been collecting slowly, not as much. You think I would accumulate a lot by now, but I've been pretty selective on what I really want to get. I don't care to have ET for the Atari in my collection, so
You just
yeah.
threw a punch at Dan.
That game pops up all the time on this podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you eventually got a Genesis then.
Oh yeah, no, I got a
Yeah.
Genesis. The funny thing about that is I actually got a Genesis for Christmas, but we ended up taking it back and exchanging it for a Super Nintendo. So it's not that I hated the Genesis or anything, but I was a Mario guy. I had a Nintendo before. I had like Mario 1, 2, and 3, and of course I wanted to play Super Mario World, so that was yeah. So we finally convinced my parents to exchange the Genesis for Super Nintendo. But I ended up finding a Genesis after, and I think I have the Genesis complete with the what's it called, the 32X.
Oh yeah, yep.
All of the attachments that just make it look like a tower.
Makes it look like a monster.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I thought your name meant something different. I thought your name was OddNez, like NES, Ness.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's kind of
Like
a play on
oddness, and plus like oddity as in oddness. That's what I thought it was for a while. But
Yeah,
I'm
it's
glad
just-
that I finally know what it means. So what do you collect the most, or do you not collect and you just go for specific titles?
Well, there was a time where I was just specifically collecting just for the NES. Then I kind of started collecting a lot for, I know it's unusual, but I started collecting a lot for the PlayStation 3. And
That's not unusual.
Not
don't
really.
worry.
Not really.
Well,
There's a gazillion games on PS3.
at the time, it was when I was collecting for it because nobody else was collecting, and you could find PS3 games for like dirt cheap. And I guess what interested me about the PS3 was like the exclusives, like in all parts of the world, right? Like I started searching online for people in other parts of the world that had exclusives in their region to try to build my PS3 collection with like all these exclusives. Like for example, like the Last Guy that was an English version that was only released in I think like some parts of Asia, and Lost in the Rain, which was also released in some parts of Asia. And we here only got like a digital release, so yeah, the PlayStation 3 was definitely a console that I really enjoyed for collecting for. I got probably well over 500, 600 games for the PS3.
Nice.
And
Wow,
now that the PS3 has pretty much skyrocketed in price, it kind of came to a screeching halt on collecting for it.
So you were collecting exclusive titles for each region for
Well,
PS3.
Yeah, I was
Nice.
well, I was pretty much collecting everything, but
But you were
uh,
specifically going for games over in the other regions that only came out there.
right, yeah. So I was doing a lot of that specifically because I seen how the market got for Super Nintendo and NES, like the prices started to skyrocket. So I thought, okay, so let me get a head start on the PS3 and try to find games in other parts of the regions that would eventually become pretty pricey over here and buy them for a decent price. So that's what I started to do, just make connections with people and
That's cool.
overseas and yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's smart.
Yep. Well, NES and Super NES, that never changed. That just keeps creeping up and going up and going up, and it's outrageous, out of hand. There's some of those games they're never going to be in my grasp unless I buy a repro cart of it.
Yeah, even that, I don't even know. Like, if I want to get specifically just a repro card for just like one game, I'd rather just like use like what do they call it?
RetroPie?
The EverDrive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
EverDrive. Yeah.
RetroPie, or just an emulator if I really wanted to play the game. But yeah, no matter how much I say it, it's still not the same as owning a physical cartridge. Like just
Exactly.
having it.
That's why I say
Yeah.
repro, because like at least it's a physical cartridge. You could play the ROM just like you would on the regular one. So
Right. I just don't want to make I don't want to turn my collection into like one of those collections if I ever wanted to sell it off. Oh, there's that repro there. So
Don't sell the repro. Throw it in the trash.
yeah, I know. But that's the thing too. It's like then I'll be spending money on it for something and I'll eventually just throw it away. But
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't really matter because it's
Not
like,
really.
if I wanted it, it's because I wanted.
It's
to
because
play
you
right?
wanted it,
So,
right?
Right.
You're not looking for resale value.
The only thing that I actually sold was my Saturn collection. I got rid of all of that.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep.
Ouch.
Oh no, I wanted to do it. There was a couple of discs that were getting CD disc rot on it, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well,
Yep.
you know what? That's happening to one game. So, yeah, I just listed them all, and they bought every single. The one guy bought every single one of my game, but he didn't want any of the loose copies, so I'm stuck with all the loose copies.
Bones. Questions.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where to go with any questions after hearing a disc rot story like that. I'm just
In shock.
man. So
Bones knows all about disc rot.
Do you like having loose discs in your collection then, or do you prefer to collect all in box, or at least in the box, not complete? What are you, completist?
No, I don't really care. I haven't really thought about collecting simply for the value. I just really like to have like a video game library at home that I can access and play at any point in time that I want. So, and to be honest with you, like when me and my friends started a YouTube channel, we were planning to do a lot of Let's Plays. So just having the games here to access to play whenever we wanted to play, like was the main gist of it. So having a complete copy really didn't bother us whether it was complete or not. So yeah, no, I don't mind either way as long as I can play it. Don't matter. So
Yeah, that's how it used to be. I kind of changed over the last year where, yeah, I kind of need the case for everything. Oh, that little fucking slippery slope that you go down sometimes.
yeah, well, I'm still living in the same time back in the age when I had my Super Nintendo and I begged my mom to go to the store, buy me a buy me a copy of Kirby, bring it back home, rip it up, box, manual in the garbage, cartridge in the system.
That's everybody though.
Yeah. So I'm still pretty much in that moment where I'm not throwing my actual cases away or anything, but yeah.
You just don't need it. That's all.
No, I bought a lot of games from Limited Run, and all of them probably sitting. They're all sitting behind me open. I don't think not one of them are sealed, unfortunately.
You don't need them sealed. Nah, you don't need them sealed. You want to
I gotta play them.
play your damn games. Do not keep your games sealed.
I never understood that. So
Me neither.
Yeah.
So are you still collecting for the NES anymore?
Not as much. I can't remember the last time that I bought a game for the NES, just because of just simply how the prices have been. The prices have been outrageous, and I think at this point I have every game on the NES that I want, I guess, except for maybe one or two of the Mega Man games. But aside from that, yeah, I got every game that I need for the NES. So I'm pretty content with that collection being the way it is. Plus, my shelf's got no more room for NES cartridges, so yeah.
See how much easier it is, guys, to
The
not
story
want a
of our
full set.
the story of our lives. No room.
Yeah, dude, it must be so nice. Yeah, I have a problem where I like full sets, so that takes up too much area.
The N64 is probably better for that because they got a smaller library.
296.
Yeah, that doesn't take up that much space compared to the NES. The NES takes up a lot more.
Oh yeah.
What's some of your favorite PS1 games?
Well, for sure, the games that I probably invested the most time in is probably going to be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. All three of them, actually all four of them. But I never had the fourth one. It was that weird time where it was transitioning to like the next gen console. So Tony Hawk's Pro Skater came out on both consoles. kind of like sport games, how it comes out on like 4 consoles for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, so Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, 3. One of my favorite games, one of the games that kind of introduced me to RPGs was Star Ocean: The Last Story. That was just a time in my life that I don't know. I really connected with that game. It's hard to explain, but I think everybody goes through certain crap in their life, and then there's just that one game that you put on, and you always think back to it. And I think to me, that's the one game that reminds me of the PlayStation 1.
Well, if you ever want to play that on Super Nintendo, I know the guy that sells Star Ocean Translated.
Oh, I own that already.
Okay, you own it. I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if you're interested, I know I got somebody.
I bought it from, I can't remember, Retro USB. I think it's like a blue translucent cartridge. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're the second person I heard say that that's a good game, and I haven't played it yet or own it, so I'm gonna have to scoop that one up. Dan, you probably own it.
For the
Podcast pickup.
For the PS1, yeah, that's a great game for the PS1, definitely.
The later ones not so much, but I didn't invest too much time into them. I could be wrong, but I know for sure that the PS1 game is just something that always reminds me of the PS1, and something that got me introduced into RPGs. Well, JRPGs for that matter.
Nice. Okay, I'll pass it on to the next one. Dan?
Yeah. So what's your earliest, like how far back do you go gaming wise? Like what's your earliest console? Like how far what's your favorite console that's, that from back then?
The
most retro.
console.
Yeah, the most retro you would go.
The most retro that I would go?
Mm-hmm.
Probably Atari 5200.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Different.
I had one. I remember we went to a Salvation Army here, and we picked it up way back when. I know I had a Nintendo at the time, but I convinced my grandma to buy it for me, and it came with a bunch of games. And I remember just taking it home, and yeah, I have good memories of it. And unfortunately, I don't own one now, but that's yeah, that's probably as far back as I was go. I think Atari or like Intellivision maybe is. I think I still would collect for the Atari, but I'd be very selective what I would buy for it, like Joust or anything like that. But anything farther than that, that's probably where I'd be like.
You're actually the first one I actually said Atari. Most people say NES.
Yeah. Oh no, I would definitely do Atari.
What I find hard about Atari is you can't tell anything by looking at the cartridge. I mean, unless it's a sports game, I mean, you really don't know what it is. So to be selective on what you're getting is going to be tough because you're not really going to know what the game is going to be about for the most part.
Right, yeah. Well, then I'll be really selective, I guess. I don't know what to say, but there are some games that I do have some memories with, like Pitfall and whatnot. I don't. Yeah, I wouldn't get every single game for the NES. I know just by looking to the left, I see Pac-Man's in my Atari right now. So yeah, like I wouldn't buy every single game for the Atari.
Did you ever play the Sega Master System?
Yes, I own the Sega Master System as well. I don't really own much games just by looking. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably like only 6 games currently in my collection.
It's an oddity that you even have that because most people don't.
Well, the reason why I was asking is because as a fellow Canadian, the one thing I remember is when I would go visit in Canada, my friends, like the Sega Master System was way more popular north of the border than it is here in the United States. Like most of my friends that I visited in Canada had that as opposed to the NES, which was very different. So when I would go visit them, we'd play Sega Master System, and I'd be like, wow, and they would have the same games in the US, but nobody was just buying them. So I thought I was gonna. I don't know if that was if you were around then or if you remember that but. Yeah, Sega Master was way more popular in Canada than it was here.
I was so confused with the Sega Master System when I first got introduced to it because first of all it's like they have those disc or not disc but like those like floppy kind of almost like those TurboGrafx games.
Cards.
Yeah.
The Hue cards.
That's what they're called, right?
Sega
I was
card.
so confused. I'm like, does this cartridge play those, or does it play cartridges? Like, do I need an expansion like the Genesis? So yeah, that console confused me. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a holdover from the Japanese counterparts. They were trying to figure out like which media, like the Japanese used those cards a lot more, and they were trying to figure out, well, the U.S. was using cartridges, and they were trying to figure out which format. So they made a system that accommodated both, which is kind of cool.
Right.
But yeah, and then yeah, my other question is kind of related to that. Like, so being up in Canada, do you notice any like? Do you feel like you're missing out on any games that are here in the U.S.? I don't know if you make it down to the U.S. ever, but I don't know if there's some things that that aren't as popular there that they might be here, or vice versa, that you might have to travel across the border to get.
Not really, actually. A lot of the games that I have are almost all from the U.S. To be honest with you, there's if you look at some of the NES games, like you'll see like the NES CAD on the bottom, like they're Canadian games, but for the most part, I think most of my collection is just like, games from America or games from the States. So if anything, it would be like games that were more region exclusive to like Europe or Asia. Like those would be the harder ones to find. I don't see much of a difference between Canada and the States.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was growing up and the Adventure of Link came out for the NES. It was really hard to find here in America. It was like sold out everywhere. Back then, not as many people had games, so they didn't make as many copies. There's not as many people had the NES, so they didn't make as many copies. So it took them a while before it actually got out in the public. So, and my dad was traveling through Canada, and he was able to find me a copy up in Canada. But the funny thing is, like the Canadian version of Link has like French on it has dual language, so the box has like both English and French on the back. So yeah, there are some differences between the US and the Canadian version, I guess, in some of these games.
Yeah, and I think every game that I buy for the PS3 or any modern game that I buy here, they're all bilingual, so they all have French and English, and well, it doesn't really bother me. The game's the same, but I can tell if the game is not from Canada because it doesn't have French on it. But it's harder to tell with like older cartridges and older like if it was like a boxed a Genesis game. I don't think they ever came with bilingual languages on it. It was just always in English for the most part that I know. I mean, I could be wrong.
And my last question is that was a great story about how you got into gaming and then how you just came across the pile of games, Genesis games. Was there anything cool or valuable in that pile that you picked up?
Let me see. I'm actually pulling them out now because like I always keep them to the side, so it's funny. Yeah, so the games that I actually picked up from that pile were Garfield, Mortal Kombat, Eternal Champions, and Aladdin.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good mix.
There might be some other loose cartridges, but these are the ones that are in the clamshells that I keep up here. So the other ones that are just loose are just waiting to be sleeved up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a nice grab. That's a nice grab for being dumped on the side of the road. So, anyways, that's it for me. So, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like the way you said 5200 on Atari. Most people would have said like 2600 or 7800. 52 has the bigger square cartridges. But that's pretty cool. And that's cool. You still have those Sega games that you found. Honestly, I would have did the same thing. Like, if I see something out there and I don't have it and it looks good, I'd probably pick it up too. Especially games.
There's no shame in my game. No cartridge, no game left behind. I will pick it out of the damn trash.
You're right about that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's I think at that time it was a very different time back in 2004 where retro wasn't as cool as probably it is now. So, yeah, just I don't know. I think if I went back to school the next day and everybody drove by in the bus and said, "Oh, look, that guy's picking up some garbage," and I don't know, maybe I wouldn't be the coolest kid in school. I'd be just a garbage picker.
I wouldn't care.
No,
Honestly, I wouldn't care
understand.
what anybody said. I don't care. You
Yeah.
can say whatever you
Yeah.
want. They're just words. And let me tell you something. Thank you for preserving gaming because
Oh, yeah.
that's what you did.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
We're applauding you. You're like our hero.
Yep, for real.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, I know you're in Canada right now. Like, how is the YouTubers up in Canada? Like, do you look at like angry video game nerds? Do you look at the YouTubers that are up here, or is there like real big, more bigger, more popular YouTubers than a video game nerd?
I don't actually even like for the most part. I don't like. It's really hard to tell what YouTubers are from Canada or what YouTubers are from the States. Like to us, it's just like I don't know. But I did actually meet James a while back. I think 2014 at Con Bravo. Yeah.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, so I met him. He was a decent guy. I didn't have much time to actually talk to him because uh, there was a lot of people in line, and we all had to, and everybody wanted to get their stuff signed. But from the couple minutes that I did have to talk with him, he seemed like a pretty down to earth guy. I actually had him sign one of my copies of. It was one of my very first NES repros of AVGN versus Dr. Willy for like it was a Mega Man hack, I believe.
Oh,
A Mega Man
nice.
2 hack. Yeah. I had him sign it. He looked at it and he's like, "Oh, what is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just a hack that somebody put together." And I thought it'd be cool for you to sign it. And yeah, I remember people looking at me thinking, "Oh, you're gonna put that up right on eBay." I'm like, "No, I'm not doing this for the value. I'm just doing this because it's gonna have just some sentimental value." And yeah, I look up to James for what he does on YouTube. Actually, keeping retro alive. And, yeah, even if
Yeah,
it's old crappy games, but it's retro.
Yeah, he helped bring all that back, and now you got that memory of getting him to sign it. So that's awesome. Is there any other thing you collect besides games, like physical media, like movies, Blu-rays, anything like that, VHS tapes?
I used to collect DVDs, but that was just getting out of hand, and I was finding DVDs for like dirt cheap, and it's like I think I have to let these go because it was taking up way too much space. So yeah, I don't collect anything per se in general. Like I used to collect a lot of different things when I was younger, like from cards, coins, and I think the only things now that I constantly collect are video games and comic books.
Oh, comics, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So
You
those are the only things that I have space for. Anything else is just like I like getting custom made things, which is kind of how I met Chris in the first place because I was asking him for custom made sleeves. So I like anything custom now. I feel like having something custom here in my game room is more of a talking piece than just having something that anybody else can get. I don't know. To me, I gravitate towards custom made things more than anything.
nice, yeah.
It's
What about PlayStation 1? You do any PlayStation 1 gaming?
Yeah.
What are
Like
some good titles you like?
like I mentioned before, like my favorite ones were Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I got Star Ocean. I'm trying to think. I don't know if you guys know NASCAR Rumble, but I spent a lot of time with my friend playing NASCAR Rumble.
that.
I don't know what it is.
It's
I know
funny.
it's such a cheesy
It's-
game, but I
it's-
love it.
It's really funny you say that because that was one of my 3D or no's a while ago. It wasn't the PlayStation 1 version, it was a different one, and everybody trashed that title.
Oh, I don't know. There's just something that me and my friend enjoyed playing that game.
No, I don't
Yeah,
bash it at all. I would play it too, so.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other games. Maybe Spider-Man for the PlayStation 1. Also, what else did I put time in? Spyro the Dragon.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
love that game.
all three of them, and
Yep.
Crash Bandicoot as well.
Since you're up in Canada, what are 3 Canadian comedians that you think are good?
3 Canadian comedians. Okay, so let's start with Jim Carrey first of all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who else? Didn't somebody say Tom Green here the other?
Yeah, that
a
was
while
me.
back?
I love Tom Green. My
Uh,
favorites.
who else? Mike Myers. I was gonna say Michael Myers, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, he could be Canadian. I don't know. Who else? I honestly can't think of a comedian. Like I can think of actors, but I'm trying to think of comedians.
That's 3 right there. That's a good pick. Yeah, that was my last question right there, man. Great
All right.
answer.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Maybe I'll just ask what are the main consoles that you guys collect for? Like, what do you guys enjoy collecting, and how did what makes you guys want to like sleeve all of your cartridges? Is it because like you just want to preserve them so they're not like as dusty inside when you try to put them in? Because like I know that can be a pain in the ass. Like every time you try to put an NES cartridge, you're always like pulling out your cotton swabs and alcohol. So like is that the reason why you guys kind of got into this?
Go ahead, Bones. I'll let you
Well-
go first.
Well, what do I collect for? I collect for everything. Not really handhelds per se, but as far as consoles go, yeah, it's literally everything. Television, Atari 2600, all the way up to PS4, including oddballs like CDI, 3DO. Recently got a Neo Geo CD a little while back. What makes me want to sleeve the things I do, sentimental value is a main key factor. The 64 set I did for appearance, and like you said, keep dust out. The whole point, dust sleeve. That was important visually, and what was I gonna do with them? That worked out perfect. Logo sleeves being done, that's another thing. Chris has put my logo on a couple Corvette, Xbox and PlayStation 2. Those sentimental value, those they have something to them that those are the things that will put me towards it. Like I said it before, I don't necessarily just go, yeah, I'm gonna sleeve that because it's expensive. You could have Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, and yeah, it's an expensive game, but let's be honest, it's not a good game. Do you really necessarily sleeve it? No, maybe not. I mean, I have a sleeve for mine if I ever acquire it, but as the average person would look at it, no. And like I said, there are games I have that are fairly expensive, and I don't worry about a sleeve for them. Just your own personal preference, but that's kind of where my collecting is. I don't currently collect a lot for the 64 or NES because they're pretty far along as far as the set goes.
So,
Right.
Bones, are you actually pre-sleeving that Clay Fighters?
Yeah,
He's
I
not the
bought-
only one that does that. Dan does that too. They buy multiple sleeves, and they that's an indicator on how many games they got to buy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm 3 games away from the 64 set being done, and those 3
Ooh.
sleeves are sitting there empty in the line.
Waiting.
Why do
Yep,
I know
they're
the
just-
number of games for N64? 296.
That is correct, Governor.
Dan.
Yeah, so 2 parts to the question. The first, what consoles? Yeah, no, I mean, I'm older than a lot of these guys, so my days go back to the Atari days. That was my first console growing up. So I've collected all consoles since then. So anything and everything. I have a 5200. That's a hard console to. That's the hardest one to get running and play because the controllers and everything's. It's just hard to play that system. But I do collect for everything. But my favorite. I mean, you were telling me about having to dump the Sega Saturn. That's actually one of my favorite systems. So I'm a big Saturn collector. But TurboGrafx is probably my favorite system. So I like Oddball. I like the Underdog systems. I like importing Japanese games as well. But I even collect. You mentioned limited run. I collect limited run, the newer stuff too. So yeah, I'm all over the place. As far as sleeves and why I sleeve the games. Oh yeah, I mean I'm mostly on Instagram, but I just happened to come across Chris on Instagram one time, and then he was showing off the custom sleeves, and I thought that was a great idea. I'm a big fan of the artwork and a box art of games, and I thought that looks so much better than just a regular black sleeve on your cartridge. So I reached out to him and started having him make all kinds of crazy sleeves for all different systems that he's never had to make sleeves for before. Then he started doing his 3D stuff, and that's phenomenal stuff. And if there's a game that I really like that I'm really nostalgic about, I'm always asking him to make a 3D version of it so I can display it more prominently in the collection. He did mention his placeholders. Yeah, for sure. When I'm getting close to finishing a set, and I want to know how many more games I need to fill, it's easier for me to see that on the shelf, these empty spaces with sleeves in their place that I need to fill, rather than keeping it on my phone or computer or trying to figure out what games I still need. So the sleeves fill all those functions for me, and that's pretty much it.
Dizzy.
Yeah, that's cool because that gives you kind of motivation to get those sleeves filled eventually. So that's cool. I collect mostly any retro console, except for the expensive ones like Saturn, Jaguar, Sega CD. You might not see me with a bunch of those, but like NES, any of the Nintendo ones, Super 64. I do the most collecting on PlayStation 2. PlayStation 1, I love those consoles. And right now I'm doing a lot of Wii collecting just because I see it as it's at the cheapest price it's ever going to be right now, these Wii games. And I'm finding them like for $1, $2 sometimes. And you were mentioning earlier about PlayStation 3. Like, I have a collection of PlayStation 3 games, but I don't even have a PlayStation 3 yet. I'm waiting for a backward compatible one, so I'm just like you collecting the PS3 games, but I just don't have the console. And the dust sleeves, I just thought it was great. I think the first dust sleeve I saw was a Zap Crystal one. So for me, it's a way to show support to your friends on YouTube, different YouTubers. If I put an order in for dust sleeves, I'm usually getting like 2 copies, 3 copies of certain YouTubers. That way it helps them get their name out. I could send a box to one of my friends and they'll have different dust sleeves in there. So, and I really like the way, it helps the YouTuber's channel by, the profits going back to the YouTuber. They can put that into their channel, buy cameras with that, with the money, different things like that. So I really like that. But if it's not a logo sleeve, if it's just like a regular dust sleeve for a game, the game has to have, like Bones was saying, some type of sentimental value to it. Maybe a game that I beat, or a game it took me really hard to get. It took a long time to get that game. But mostly just showing support. I always get a Zap, Crystal, a Linda, and a J-Love sleeve whenever I put an order in, because I like to show support to different people. So mainly it's the support, but there's some sentimental value in the dust sleeves too.
And that leaves me. Well, I create the dust sleeves, so it's kind of hard for me to say. But the reason I can give you a little quick overview of why I created the dust sleeves. I had plenty of cartridges just laying around without dust sleeves. And there's a whole, actually, you can listen to the podcast. They did an introduction podcast for me. So actually, there is one out there if you want to listen to it. But short and sweet, I created them because I didn't have anything. And it went from there to supporting YouTubers, smaller ones that don't get seen. And that's when I created the logo sleeve. The very first logo sleeve was JLove81. I known JLove since before she even got bigger, I should say, on YouTube. I was one of the first people that reached out to her. At the time, she had rant videos on her on her YouTube, believe it or not, about how cold it was. But yeah, so the logo sleeves was just a way to give back to the people on YouTube. Or it doesn't even necessarily have to be YouTube. It could be anybody that needs a logo sleeve made up. I'll do anybody. Dan is not from YouTube. Dan is Instagram only. He has a logo sleeve. Everybody that's been on this podcast has a logo sleeve. And if they don't, I've created a logo for them, so they do have a logo sleeve. I create logos. I don't charge it. Actually, believe it or not, you probably don't know this because you don't know me that well, but I don't make money on these. This is just straight me producing the sleeve at cost of the material. This is a hobby. Same with this podcast, it's a hobby. I just want to get people known and seen. That's it. Because I know how frustrating it is to not be seen by other people. As far as collecting is concerned, I collect just about everything. I don't gravitate to really anything. I have nostalgia for the NES because that was pretty much where it all started. I had an Atari though. Atari was the first thing I got. But the NES is pretty much where it all started for me. Super Mario Brothers 3 on the NES. And everything that I had in my childhood, I still have. So all my games from my childhood on forward. And I haven't really gotten to the collecting scene until I started talking to Bones and Dan. That's when I started really getting into the massive collecting. So hopefully that answered your question a little bit.
Yeah. No, you guys answered it all great.
Any other questions?
No, that's all I got.
All right, no problem. So let's do this last little segment called Game of the Month. Bones, Game of the Month.
My game is gonna be Never Dead for the PS3.
Dan.
My game is in honor of Dizzy. He mentioned this the other day. Taboo, The Sixth Sense for the NES. I actually picked it up after he mentioned it.
Nice.
Yeah, he did. He showed it. No, you didn't show it to us, did you? Dizzy.
No, I didn't show it. I just said that we might have to use that taboo to reach out to Dan or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
My game is gonna be the Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles game, which I don't think is gonna be on that Cowabunga collection. For the Wii.
Ness.
Let me think about it. My game would probably be Cloud 2 for the PS3, just simply because it's a game that I've been wanting to play and I've heard a lot of good things about it.
And mine is Car Van.
Van Car.
Or
Right?
Van Car, whatever it is. That was a dyslexic dyslexic movement right there. You guys probably would have never even known what the hell I was talking about, even if I did say Van Car.
I was lost.
Van Car. That's what it is. That's literally the name of the game.
Only because I played it with you, Chris.
Only because I played it with Dan. That's the only reason why I'm saying it right now. We played it. I have an arcade, a mini-cade, and that was on there. That was one of the games we played together. So, and it was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, I had never played that game before. Yeah.
It's called Van Car. I said it backwards. See that?
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to thank you, Ness, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, no
That was a
problem.
great.
And the normal people in here, thanks. Please like, Like, comment, and subscribe. As always, don't blow, just sleeve. Later.
Talk Junior. Peace.
Yeah.
See you later.